Namaste. Welcome. Welcome to my heart. Welcome to our Sunday meditation. Let us begin this morning with a brief interning. If you'll focus your attention at the sun center, or if you prefer, you can watch the altar. Take a long, deep inhalation and exhalation. Relaxing the mind and the body. And do this again 2 more times. Turn the head to the left with a double exhalation. And bring your head back to the center, beginning to focus your attention at the sun center. Oh, great spirit, saints and sages of all times, of all places. O ye pathmakers of old, most beloved Lord of life, most beloved ancestors of our bloodlines, of our spiritual lines, most beloved gurus of the Holy Kriya lineage, most precious and beloved Ishtatevata, Namaste. As we attune to our higher selves today, pour forth your blessings. May we receive them. May we be vivified by them. May we be nourished by them. May we find that which we need most, that we might become an ever greater blessing to all sentient beings. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Once upon a time, in the galaxy of the Milky Way, there was a planet. Some on the planet called it Terra. Some called it Niorn. Some called it Earth. Upon this planet lived many, many beings. Different shapes, different sizes. Some could fly. Some could swim. Some lived upon that which they called the earth. Some lived upon that which they called the water. Some lived and flew in the sky. There were beings on this planet that thought that they were quite superior. And they were called earthlings, or humans, if you prefer. You might have heard of them. Now, in a very large city, a lot of these humans congregated. When they congregated, the place was called a city. Small congregations, villages, bigger towns, big city. This was a big city. And in the way of the earthlings, a young man and a young woman met, and they fell in love. Oh, they wanted to spend their lives together. And so they joined together, and they committed to love each other for all of their lives. And they had an offspring, a baby, a human baby. Now, the human baby takes 9 months to manifest itself upon the earth. And so they had a lot of time to get ready for this baby. And the dad and the mom, they went to work every day. They made currency so that they could come and make a nice place for the baby. And before the baby was born, there were clothes that were bought. There was a place for the baby to sleep. There were dishes for the baby to eat from, bottles, etc. The baby was born. Now, everybody on the earth says when the baby's born, you're going to love the baby right away. And if you love the baby, you're going to do for the baby. You're going to do for this other soul. And so the woman, they called her mother, she fed this baby from the milk of her body and stayed and cared for the baby. Now, in the beginning, the baby didn't sleep very long. So caring for the baby meant every couple of hours, she was getting up and trying to figure out what was wrong. Oh, did it want to be held? Did it need a diaper changed? Did it need to be burped? Was it hungry? Was it afraid? What did it need? What did the child need? The father, he was there taking turns doing the same thing. But he also had to go out and make some bring home the soybean bacon, as they say. This went on for weeks and months. Soon the mother had to go back to work also. They both had to work and take care of the baby at the same time. And the little earthling's needs changed. But all the time, the parents are having to set aside their needs, their desires for this other being. They're going to work when they'd rather sleep. They're taking care of the baby and doing things that aren't really that fun in the beginning, when they maybe would rather be going for a walk or reading a book or taking a nap. This goes on for a long time. 2 days, 3 days, you might think, no. It changes and it goes on for 365 days, and then again and again and again and again and again. And each time period that passes by, each year that passes by, the needs of this child grow and change and it becomes more effort-filled to fill them. But here's the benefit that comes with it. The mother and the father, they have opinions about how the child should behave, about how the child should be raised, about how the child should be dressed, about what the child should eat, about what languages they should learn, about how they should be educated. They have opinions. And for the first 7 years or so, well, really the first 2 years, the child really has very little way of objecting to what the parents want, very little way of objecting to what the parents are insisting upon. Time goes on. 7 years old, the child has the ability to begin to object, and they do. They start bringing forth their own opinions about how something should be. But the parents can say, well, if you loved me, you would do what I said. If you loved me, you would do what I say is best. Look at everything I've done for you. If you loved me, you would live your life the way that I feel you should live it. Time rolls on. 10 years, 20 years, 21 years, 22 years. The child is no longer a child, but in the human world has become an adult. What happens? The mother and father still want the child, the adult, their young beloved daughter, young beloved son, to do as they wish. You've heard, if you've been in this planet, you've heard the father say oftentimes to the daughter, you'll always be my little girl. She might be 45 or 50. You'll always be my little girl. No matter whether you get married and have your own family, you'll always be my sweet son. I should take priority over everything else in your life, is the message that comes through. Because look what I did. I loved you so much that I gave up all these things that I wanted to do in my life. I loved you so much that I gave up these things for you. So what does the message become? The message becomes, well, if you love me, no matter what your priorities are, if you love, you must follow the directions, the opinions, the preferences of the others. Now, on this planet, there are some parents, people who had children who have learned the deep spiritual lesson. The deep spiritual lesson is that they must give up their opinions to allow their offspring, their child, to grow into its full maturity. And so they may see the daughter marrying somebody that they don't like. They may see the son marrying a woman that they really, really, really don't like. They may see them working or getting involved in something they don't like. But they let go of their opinions. And they allow their loved ones to live their life as they choose, in the way that they have chosen. Now, to love, it is said, is to be willing to devote yourself for just a moment, to be willing to devote yourself, to put aside all of your needs, all of your desires, all of your preferences, all of your opinions, to put them aside for the other. To be more concerned for that moment in time about the other than you are about the needs, the desires, the wants, the opinions of your own personality. And you will see many, many, many people who give up their own needs, give up their own desires for others. But the question is, what are they giving up in their thoughts? What are they letting go of in their thoughts? How much are they holding on to their opinions? What will you give up for those you love? Most of you, you're just such good people, such kind and compassionate people. Most of you will give of your money, you give of your time, you give of your talents for those in need, for those whom you love. And many, many, many of you give of your time and your talents for those whom you don't even know. Many of you have devoted your life to a life of service, service to humankind, service to sentient life, service to life itself. But the Bhagavad Gita says, I must do this with wisdom. I must give up the desire for the fruits of my labor, but I must do it with wisdom. Now, once upon a yogi time, upon this planet Earth, there lived a man and a woman. And they lived up above the town. And every day together they would go down to the town and they would sell their fruits and vegetables and get enough money for the day to come back and have their bread and eat. One day, the woman became ill. And she was old and frail. And as time would have it, she was not able to go down to the town. So the man kept going by himself. And every day he would come up the mountain. Because it was only him, not both of them, he brought less food up. And he gave it to his wife. Everything he brought up the mountain, he gave to his wife. His love for her was so great, they say, that he gave all the food to his wife. Well, guess what happened? One day, in his weakened state from eating no food, he went down the mountain. And he did not return to his beloved wife. What happened? Very, very bad situation. He gave without wisdom. He gave because he thought that if he loved her enough, he should give her all the food that he got. Neti, 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 neti. No, no. The hand must feed the mouth or the body dies. He should have taken a small bit of the bread and fed himself and given to his wife. Instead, he leaves her alone up in the cottage, not knowing what happened to him. The story doesn't have a nice ending. What was his problem? Well, he had an opinion about how a man was to treat his loved ones. He had an opinion about what he was to do, and that froze. He was not able to expand his horizon of awareness to see that the circumstances had changed and he needed to do something different. Instead, he was locked into this thought that he could not and would not let go of. Don't be like that. be free, to find your own enlightenment, to truly become happy, to truly find santosha, to find awareness, to find whatever it is that you want in life. You name it. You must break free of the ice and coldness of your thought forms. You must be able to think a new thought, to allow new awareness to come into your life. If you cannot do that, you will keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over until such time that something changes and you're able to break free of the patterns of the past. Now, how do you love somebody enough to let go of that which is most precious to you? To that which you cling to the most? Not your preferences, but your opinions. The ancient texts say, do not become attached to your preferences. But I'm telling you this morning, do not become enmeshed in, sunk in, locked in to your opinions. One day, you're going to have an opinion about something, and all of your life is going to revolve around that. And then time will progress, time will go on, and you will find that what you thought was accurate is not. What you were so locked into in your thinking, it no longer applies in your life. This being locked into a thought form ties you, it locks you, it confines your being. If you think you're sick, you're sick. And there are many things you won't do because you think you're sick. However, if you think your body's having some problems, that you have a temporary thing that you have to adjust, adapt, and acclimatize to, you will adjust, adapt, and acclimatize to it. The words that you use, the thoughts that you think are vital to your life experience. I'm saying to you again, I know, looking at you, seeing you, knowing you, you've given up much for those that you've loved. Hear me again. I know you've given your time. I know you've given your talents. I know you've given your money. I know that you have given, many of you, the coat off your back. Have you given? Do you love someone or something enough that you are willing to give up your opinions? Now, I'm not saying to you, give up your opinions forever. I'm not saying you have to give up your opinions for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I'm saying that you must give up an opinion that you really, really feel strongly about. You must give it up for just a nanosecond, second smallest measurement of time. And in doing that, you change the karmic flow. You change everything. My guru used to, with some frequency, ask the disciples in discipleship, to pray for Adolf Hitler. And at the time that I was first in discipleship with Kriya, that name had a very strong negative connotation for many. And there were people who really, really, really objected to what he was asking. He said that, and there would be discussions about it. And one disciple in particular, who I have a great deal of respect and love for, said to him, "No, you can ask me to do anything, but that man, in my opinion, he is so horrible and has done such horror. I will never pray for him." Bless her, bless her, bless her. I don't know if she ever was able to pray for him, but I know she blessed me. She blessed me 100 million times as I heard her pain and as I heard my guru say, "Dear disciple, if you cannot bless him, if in your opinion he is so evil and bad that he has no ability to be blessed, no right to be blessed, then a part of you, you're saying a part of you has no right to be blessed. A part of you is not good. A part of you is not worthy. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that." We must be able to bless all of life. Bless them, let them free to live as they wish, so that you are free to live as you wish. Confine them not, so that you are not confined by another. There's always somebody higher than us on the totem pole. Nature itself, sitting here, nature is evolving and doing what it's doing without our controlling it. And so, how do we let go? Well, it begins really with observing your thinking, observing the thoughts, observing your opinions about things. So here's the question. Watch what comes to your mind. What is the one thing you will never give up? The one opinion you have that you will never give up. Now you may say, well, I've been doing a lot of practice and those things that I've been locked into, I've softened that karma. And I said, good for you. Good for you. I'm glad to hear that. But don't lie to yourself. Again, let me ask it a different way. Looking at your life, what is the one opinion that you hold the strongest, that you are locked into? Again, you might tell me, well, I don't really have anything I'm locked into. All right. What's the one thing you talk about the most frequently? The one thing you're the most critical about the most frequently? Look at your life and ask that question. And then you have to let go. You have to be willing to let go. Now, there are many people since I was in discipleship, many people since I was at the beginning of my discipleship, excuse me, I'm still there. My guru may not be incarnated on the earth anymore, but I'm still in discipleship with him. There are many, many people that you could go to and say, well, I'm going to ask you to pray for this soul or that soul or the other soul. And depending upon where you're living on the earth, you will find it easy or you will find it difficult to send blessings or even the thought of goodness and blessings to an individual. But you must be able to do that. And it's something that we have to work at. One has to work at again and again and again. So how do you do it? You go back and you try again and again and again. You try to give your blessing again and again and again. And when the mind objects, you think of the most repugnant person you know, the most absolutely person who is the most repugnant to you. You don't have to know them, know of them. The person is the most, that you are the most repelled by the way they've lived their lives. And you ask life to bless them. Excuse me just a moment. You ask life to bless them. Now, someone just asked the question, are beliefs and opinions the same thing? Well, of course they are. It's those things that we believe that we lock into sometimes as our strongest opinions about something. The whole practice of mysticism, is to know the reality, not to believe. I hope that none of you come here on Sundays, or those who come to join my Sangha on Thursday nights. I hope that you do not come feeling that you are being given beliefs, or that I am sharing with you beliefs. A belief is something that you cannot validate for yourself, that is not a noetic experience. The mystical path is about knowing. The mystical path is about you having a primary experience. It's not about me saying, oh, you should meditate. It would be great for you. Try it. Does it work? Does it make you more relaxed? Does it make you happier? Do you feel better when you come out? Are you wiser? Is your life better? Then you know without relying upon me. A belief is something that somebody tells you about the reality, about one aspect of the reality. And it is those things that we lock into. So you let them go for a moment. a young man came to me, and this is something, a very common question that arises, or situation that arises, but a young man in his teens. And he said, my mother insists that I continue to go to church every week, and she grills me about it. She insists that I must go. And I do believe in God, but I don't want to be going to her church. What should I do? I said, well, what do you think the problem is? He said, well, it's her opinion that I should be there with her and that I should believe what she believes. Well, what do you think? Well, I think I'm entitled to my own opinions about things. Funny how we use those words. I said, well, you're 16. You've only got 2 more years. You'll be 18. You can leave mama's house, and then you can do what you want to do. You can go to church with her on Sundays. You can go to church with her on Easter and Christmas, or you cannot go to church with her. It's up to you at that time. And unless you're able to have an adult conversation with your mother, you don't really have much choice. You're going to have to continue to do as mother says. But if I were talking to mother, I would say, why is it so vital to you? Why at this time when your child is trying to break free and become an adult, are you insisting on this one thing? And if you feel that it's important, why don't you explain it to him instead of boom, 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 you must, you must, you must. You must do this, you must do this, you must do this. Give it up. For a moment, what would happen if you gave up your belief? Well, for a moment, what would happen if you gave up your opinion about that which you hold the most dear to yourself? Then you have to fill it with something, all right? And so you let go of it, but you have to fill it with something. It can't just be let go of. It must be filled. Fill it with mantra, fill it with affirmation. And I think, I know that one of the most helpful affirming prayers that we can say 5 times a day is this very simple: free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. Free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. Free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. Free them from their negative thoughts, that they do not pass them on to me. Free me, free them. Free them from their negative thoughts, that they do not pass them on to me. Free me, free them. Free them from their negative thoughts, that they do not pass them on to me. Free me, free them. It's our negative thoughts that confine us, our negative thoughts that are linked to these opinions that we hold, our negative thoughts that repeat again and again and again and again, and that we pass on to others. We talk about with others. We think about over and over and over and over, until we've made a groove in the mind that's as big as the palm, the center of the palm of the hand. The groove is deep, 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 and repeats itself again and again. You need to find a new pattern that you're making, a new way that you are living your life. I think one of the most beautiful things that I see and have seen in life is the courage that it takes for a parent, really the courage it takes to allow your child to learn to walk, to do things on their own. You know, the baby gets up to walk and it falls, gets up to walk and it falls, gets up to walk and it falls. But the baby has to get up to walk by itself so that in time it can stand on its own 2 feet. And that symbol carries through every part of your life. If the child is old enough and you see them climbing on the jungle gym, you have to have the courage to let them climb on the jungle gym on their own. You know, it's time for the child to go off to college. You need to let them have the courage to go off to college. You have to have the courage to let them go off to college by themselves. They're in the military and they get sent to Japan. You have to have the courage and the comfort to encourage them as they go across the world. Or you're in Japan and they get sent to America. You know what I'm talking about. And so, what I'm trying to say, the key, we must let go. We must detach from our desires. Detach from your desires by letting go of your opinions. Let go of your opinions by realizing they're simply thoughts that you prefer. It's a thought you prefer. You like it better than any other thought. And just like you would use the neti, neti, neti practice for a simple thought that you want to let go of, you use neti, neti, neti to ease the confinement of your opinions. It's just a thought. And for some reason, at this point in time in your life, you have decided to give that preference. Okay, give something else preference. Love someone, your Ishtadevata. Love something, the thought of your own liberation. Love someone, love yourself. Love yourself enough to give up your opinions, your beliefs, and move to a higher state of consciousness. Love yourself enough to free yourself from the desires for the fruits of your labor, but to know I have to meditate. I have to meditate. I have to meditate. I have to breathe Kriya. Let me not worry about what I'm going to get from it, but rather, this is my action of love towards myself. And so I ask you to join with me the end of our meditation this morning. Let us go into meditation together and lift the vibration. Lift the vibration to a higher vibration of love for the self, of love for all sentient life. It's not forever, you know. You can always reach back and grab that opinion if it's important to you. But in time, letting go again and again and again, you will come to realize, I can neutralize this thought form. I can neutralize that thought form. It's not needed. Let us turn inward together. Focus your attention at the sun center. Turn your head to the left with a double exhalation. Bring the head back to the center and begin to watch your breath. Pull the energy from the limbs of the body to the trunk of the body using the sipping breath. Pull the energy from the trunk of the body to the spinal column using the sipping breath. Pull the energy from the base of the spine to the sun center using the sipping breath. Now move that energy as a golden ball of light out in front of you. Sweep it around to the left, behind you, to the side, in front again. Do this 3 times. Now focus your attention at the sun center, the point between your eyes, the Arjuna Chakra. See this as a big screen of light. Now in your mind's eye, bring forth the form of life that is most beautiful to you at this moment. See that form of life in front of you, that object of beauty in front of your mind's eye. Breathe with the object of beauty. Now sharpening the camera of your mind's eye, see the object ever more clearly. See this object of beauty. Feel the object of beauty. Smell the object of beauty. Hear the sound of the object of beauty. Bringing that form of beauty closer to your sun center until it is at the sesamonic channel, the center of your sun center. Breathe your breath into the form of beauty. Vivify it by your breath. Enliven it with the light of your sun center, the light of your being. Now feel that form of beauty, see that form of beauty begin to dissolve as golden dewdrops down your spinal column. Feel it dissolving from your sun center. Feel the entire form of beauty dissolving down your spinal column. Feel the golden light radiating from your spine into the trunk of your body. Feel the beauty radiating from the trunk of the body into the limbs of your body. Feel this beauty that thou art radiating to all sentient beings. In this moment, bring forth the image of someone whom you love and share this beauty with them. And now, holding the form of beauty in your mind's eye, bring up the image of someone who you're not fond of, someone that your mind is repelled by, and give them the gift of this beauty that thou art. Share it with them, radiate it towards them, and see that as thou art this beauty, As thou art filled with this beauty, there is within them a bindu of the same. And if your mind should object, ask it to anyway. It doesn't have to like it. Just give of the beauty without judgment. Hold that beauty within every cell of your being. Be thou blessed. Be thou blessed. Be thou triply blessed. Become an ever greater blessing to all of those who enter your aura. Open your heart. Be willing to accept the blessings of life. Let go of the hardness for just a moment and allow the blessings to flow to you. You are good. You deserve the blessings of life. You are good. You deserve the goodness of life. You are good. You deserve to be happy. Namaste. Namaskar.